All right, welcome to my podcast. I have here Armand, Didi from the Netherlands. I have here my business bro, Laz.
Hey.
And we're here to show you today a lot of different stories. We want to talk about things that over the past 2 weeks that have really, I have experienced are just groundbreaking. Like all these things I learned. So something, so I to get to start off, I flew Didi and Armand, who teach Tai Chi, or their brand is called Chi Skills.
Yeah.
And I flew them from the Netherlands over to Bangkok, which is pretty much across the world if you guys don't know. And I think it was like a 12-hour flight or something, right?
Yeah. It's
Absolutely.
11 hours, but yeah, it's getting close to 12 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So I flew them across the world, and then I just knew that this would be very important because I was at a stage where I was like, okay, I told Laz that, hey, like I gotta double down on this energy thing because I knew it was the next step towards manifesting. You know, it's the next step that could really take not only myself but my team to the next level. So I remember I saw all these like big results that were coming out from the things that you taught me, you know,
Yeah.
like the energy ball stuff, and then
We were
all these-
already working online together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before you invited us over. Yeah. So you had already had those experiences.
Yeah. We were working online for, I think since for months now, since November of last year, I believe.
Yeah.
October, November, somewhere there. Yeah.
Yeah. Back then, me and Laz were still in the Philippines,
Right.
and then, I remember that. Just those were tough times, and now it's way better. Now I feel like a lot like more light and everything.
Fantastic. So what had the most impact on you so far? What are some of the benefits that you experience now that you got out of the training so far? Could you share that a bit?
Yeah, benefits. I definitely feel more relaxed. I feel like before my mood would kind of swing up and down, and then it would just go all over the place. And Laz kind of saw that. I would just get pissed off randomly in a dance, and then over time I just learned to like just kind of neutralize everything, and then things didn't affect me as much.
Yeah.
Those were just some of the small benefits. So like the bigger ones, I remember like after doing some energy balls, like I remember Laz, you told me like, oh, you had all these like ideas or something. Not bad, right? Not bad ideas. I remember you said that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's probably your second best idea or something.
Of the year.
But you
That's
said
funny.
that like 10 times every time I had that new breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Josh and I definitely like to bounce a lot of ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just to keep him humble. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this probably isn't your best idea, but the last one, that probably set the bar for ideas, right?
Right.
But it's been cool to see like his evolution
Yeah.
after joining with you guys,
Yeah.
and kind of like how like his chi, his life energy has improved and
Absolutely.
streamlined over the time. Similar to what he mentioned. When he first came across you guys, he didn't introduce you guys like as a guru or anything. What he did introduce you as was a guy flipping people on YouTube. You're like, look at this guy and how he's like literally manhandling like 20 people at once, or just throwing guys across the room. And I was like, okay, this guy's basically semi-superhero. So
That's funny.
so
Yeah.
I'm
That's
glad
funny.
that we're sitting here today across.
Yeah,
yourself.
of course,
Yeah,
man. Our
yeah.
pleasure too. Thanks for flying us over and being
Yeah.
able to work with you in person, right? And meeting
Yeah.
you as
Yeah.
well, because I guess we cannot really separate you guys, right?
Yeah.
Because as we've been affecting Josh, it's going to affect your business as well, right?
Sure.
And your
Yeah.
business partners. And and we also had the profound pleasure of seeing Josh change, right?
Oh.
Also since last October, November, when we started working with him, I would see him in the beginning a little bit more often, but then it was more once every 2 weeks. But I did have daily contact with him through WhatsApp. I mean, we had a lot of conversations. Every morning I wake up and there's these messages, and so I really get to know him on a deeper level. He's very intelligent, so he has this quality where everything that we teach, immediately he brings that into an action or into something. And not everyone is like that per se. For some people get stuck in the method, maybe for like Qigong or Tai Chi, because that's that energy work. But Josh has a quality of immediately recognizing how that can benefit him and where it can benefit him. So yeah, I think, Josh, your door is just open, right? The door is ajar for information to come in, and then immediately put that into practice. And I hope you can see that also, right? That's just happening, and that's, I guess, Didi, right? That's the most
absolutely.
wonderful thing for us as teachers to see the student grow like this. And of course, the last 2 weeks have been very intense, right? Working with both your team and you personally too. And it's transformation happening before our eyes. So
Yeah, I really owe it to you guys. It's been a journey. Yeah, it's been crazy. So many things. It hasn't just impacted me like in my business, but also my personal side. With other people, with girls, with everyone, even my parents, and then really helped me break through this generational curse as well. You know, there's a lot of things going on with family. You know, like I can break that cycle, but yeah, it took some time. You know, and after a while, I was like, oh shoot, I see something, and then it just happened. You know, and as I kind of focused on myself. It impacted my parents indirectly, you know. So all these things had like a butterfly effect, and eventually, I see them. It's like now, you know, now my dad's like jumping on trampolines. Before he would just be on TikTok. Go after work, just go straight home to TikTok, and then looking at the TV for the weather, and then go to sleep and repeat. Every day is the same, which was crazy, you know. And then not too long ago, you know. He's like, he finally opened up. I heard like calmness in his voice, like warmth for the first time ever in his life.
Wow.
In my life, right? So I was like, wow, this is crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't think this was possible, like for decades.
Yeah, it's incredible. So you've been changing your state since October, and of course before you were already doing a lot of things, but since October you have been finding these methods to just change your state around, right? And knowing how to do that very consciously. It's like, okay, I'm in this state now. How can I use this qigong, these exercises, but also these concepts to swing my state from a negative to a positive, right?
Yeah.
And you can see how that influences everything and your whole environment. So the first thing we talked about really was manifestation, right? I mean, manifestation is such a big topic for you, right? In your business and what you were trying to bring out into the world, so how people can manifest better. But now you can see that everything that all your thoughts, your feelings, and all your actions, they have an effect in the world, right? And now that you're so much more conscious of how this energy, being you, is behaving in this reality. Now you start changing yourself around, and you can see how the effect spreads into your environment, your family, friends, everything, right? And how that just affects it. And so manifestation starts there, right? It starts with you and understanding how you go from unconscious manifestation to conscious manifestation.
So at first, for me, state change was, I called that just my mood, right? Before it was like, my mood was always down, and I always attributed to like other factors, environmental things, you know, oh, it's his fault or it's because of him. And then I realized and I was trying to stop myself from feeling low, which was impossible. That was impossible, right? I even tried like meds and all these different things, and nothing worked consistently, right? Except that neurofeedback was the one thing that worked, but that's something else. And then now, but I needed something to take over that and have my own skills to develop internally. So this conscious state changes has been game changer, and I actually just realized this over the past couple of days when you were talking about the state changing thing. How like happiness is actually it's a decision, you know. It's like it's a choice, right? So it's like what I realized was even I've actually always in the past I've kind of given up because I thought that it wasn't really working, but it was just because I wasn't consistent at it. And then after a while, just by being consistent, like okay now. Then within that practice, like I know it's a choice. I know like I could flip anything, you know, consciously. So I don't have to just leave the spot. You don't have to just leave the room. I don't have to blame anyone. You just switches just like that. So
right. Beautiful.
And I think also in these 2 weeks we saw a big change in starting with the physical. When you worked on your spine. You worked on your fascia.
Structure.
Structure.
Alignment.
Because that's that's the foundation for you to kind of hold your spine while you're talking to other people, while you're doing your stuff.
Yeah.
And that definitely made I saw over the days the changes happening.
Was I getting taller?
Absolutely.
I didn't manifest.
But it does make you feel bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm not sure if that's possible, although maybe when you're sitting like this all the time, you really do, you are bigger while you're stretching up.
Yeah.
But you definitely show more of yourself.
Yeah.
There's more.
Yeah, I did manifest.
Outside,
I did manifest being 6'2", so
Oh, well done.
it's slowly growing.
You're getting there.
change.
You're getting.
Maybe you do a lot of power stretches.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was wondering about the manifestation. 'Cause, I mean, I just believe everything's possible. I was like, hey, why not just be 6'2"? I grew up.
Yeah, but you
Wow.
definitely discovered the relationship between your state and the physiology and how it influence each other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you can't have if one is missing, it just screws everything up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then I noticed that just by like now I just feel like more. Before I was like always felt kind of contracted and it was hard to get up.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's almost as if it's harder to get down because now it's like kind of flipped that. I feel like there's a certain switch. Like at some point there's like a point of no return, you know, and then after you switch that point of no return, it's just positive improvements and then it's less resistance rather than more resistance.
Absolutely. And then just keep continuing building stronger tendons, stronger fascia, stronger joints to sustain this openness because this openness goes all the way to a more open mental state too, right?
Yeah.
Our enemy is contraction. And everything we do on the physical level, on the vital level, on the astral level, the mental level, it's all about creating space in the system so that, you know, the stagnations that we developed over time have somewhere to go and we can release on them, right? I mean, people start getting in more contracted states because they start protecting their vulnerability over time as we grow up, right? So traumas happen, all sorts of stuff. So what happens that we become more and more contracted as human beings, and you know, until that hits a critical mass where people sort of wake up for like, oh man, this is too much. You know, it served me in the past to protect myself, but now it's working against me.
Yeah.
Because that feeling of contraction has an energy into the world, like talking about manifestation. So what do you attract from that state, right?
Yeah.
So and becoming conscious of that, as you've become conscious of that, and we also, and Les is getting more conscious every day, I guess, too, because he's hanging out with you too. Yeah. But you know, I'm sure you have your own path, and we'll talk about that for sure. Cool. But you now start recognizing you were already at that point of like, I don't want to live in this stagnation anymore. I need to figure myself out and change that around. Well, then the door starts to open. But yeah, of course, that takes time to develop. But once the wheel starts running, starts turning, there's no going back, right? So and I'm happy for you. You know that. It's not for everyone. I mean, it's a pretty tough path too. You know, it's not like I sometimes say to people, and we talk about it's not a path of all flowers. You know, it's you have to be dead honest with yourself too, right? To move ahead and
It took a lot of like letting go for sure. Like I definitely wouldn't have done this like maybe even a couple years ago. I wouldn't have done it. It just takes a lot of like you have to know that this is what you want. And I just know that like I just had a feeling, you know, when after like a couple sessions I knew like okay there's something going on here, right? And it just feels right, you know. It just feels right. Like I wasn't even expecting you were going to talk about state change, but this is actually what I wanted like years ago. I actually wanted this already, you know, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. Pretty much like we call it different things, right? I called it how do I change my mood? Right?
Mood is state also, right? It's the same
so
thing.
back then I didn't. It's like everyone's talking about different things, and then now I realize like we're all talking about the same thing. Like we all want this happiness that just in different words, right?
Yes.
People call it different things, but at the end it's just happiness. It's just like for you call it like state. I call it in the past I would call it mood. Everyone's talking about these similar feelings. It's just good feelings.
It's feelings.
Optimal feelings. Yeah. And what I realized was these optimal feelings actually manifest things way faster. So it's like way better too. It's
for
like
sure.
It's like things, and me and Laz, we just started noticing like all these things started happening, all these manifestations, all these good things. The more we doubled down on like these good things and just manifesting things, and then I also realized like, oh shoot, so since manifestation is attached to like feelings, why not just like double down on the feeling? So that's why I wanted to really go inside and then talk about more about like this internal arts, because I felt like it was really key to not only manifesting, but like really everything. Like everything is related to these feelings, because everything is energy. So I was like, yeah, we can put this in my dancing. We can put this in talking to my parents about stuff, like everything.
Yeah. I mean, this vibration, there's something in between us, right? We don't stop at the physical. So in Qigong, we look at this, especially this missing link, which is the energy, and how that relates to how you feel, right? So when you become more conscious of that and know that it doesn't stop with you, it has an effect to another person, to situations, you become more conscious. You're like, oh man, so the most important thing actually is, if we want to manifest, is that we check how we feel. And now become more skillful over how we feel. But that's the thing, when we're more unconscious and we're still too much in our brain, too much in stuck emotions and patterns, those patterns are running the show, right? And we want to turn that around. So you become aware of your patterns, see how this energy gets into the world. And now from there, because of that mindfulness, now you can actually change that. And I liked it how you said that last, like the other night we were having dinner and you said, so I know now that happiness is a skill set. Right? For a lot of people, it's like, they sort of wait for it to happen.
Yeah.
If I work hard enough, if I have that husband, that wife, that car, that house, that amount of money, and then I'll be happy. And that's the ego, right? That's the mind just lying to you.
Like media, everything.
Yeah.
It's like I believed it for so long too. Like, I have to do this, I have to make a shit ton of money in order to feel a certain way. Yeah. And then actually by thinking like that, I was feeling bad. And by feeling bad, I was not getting anything. Not even getting, like, my business was worse, like in terms of like productivity and everything. So it actually made it even harder to get the physical things in life just by feeling bad. So it's like a loop that just gotta break out of.
Yeah, and other things around you, people, situations, of course, they can bring happiness towards you, but this is different. This is about the inside, just getting inside yourself and changing that around. That's definitely a skill, right? So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Why did you think I'm gonna bring my team over and to
work with us as
well? Work with us, because it was quite a big thing to do.
It's special. What you did.
Yeah. It's definitely. I've never done this before. No. Actually, I've never flown anyone over. Yeah. Last time I had a mentor is actually that was like 2 or 3 years ago, and that was for like business, Yeah. And I didn't fly him over. It was just like webcam, So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I only do this on very special cases, and it was because I knew that my team had something that it was missing, like a key component that would really skyrocket us, because I mean they're already like really good, a super team, I did a lot of things to them, like with a lot of optimizations, you can say, right?
You're very I mean, that's one of your qualities. You're very creative in how you build your team and how you want to progress and how to find new ways. So
exactly.
Very inspiring.
Yeah, exactly. Like I knew, okay, in order to compete with these big these tech company startups in like San Francisco, they came from the Philippines, so it's a different environment. They need it's a completely different culture. Everything's different. So we need a way to like 10x them. And I already brought them like very far, I think, but that was just the beginning, And I knew like, okay, after optimizing them with all these different things, well, some of the things, for example, we did like cold plunges. Like I would make them stay in the,
You made them stay in the cold water?
I let them choose to stay in the...
You can call it team building, right? You can call it team building.
Yeah.
Team building.
I let them team build in the ice water for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then, they actually progressed a lot. We did a lot of things to really kickstart and break all these negative beliefs. I taught them things I learned from meditation, like I have them use these things called this thing called biofeedback for the heart rate, HRV, the heart rate monitor. I taught them how to use it, taught them about all these different things, sun gazing, everything. I did everything, and the end result was like they were able to be really fast and productive. And we had this we have a thing called social vibes, right? We just wanted a website built, and I just told my programmer, hey, let's get this done, and as soon as possible. He pops it up in like 1-2 days, so fast. And then it was really good too. Like, remember it was the one with the
Right.
yeah. So it's like, so it made me realize, wow, like they're actually really really good, and they have potential. My team has potential. The thing
Absolutely.
is, the biggest thing that's limiting them is the negative beliefs, and I knew this was stemming from childhood, from parents. I would speak to them and about it, but they wouldn't really talk too much about it. So I already knew there's like this internal block, and I really wanted to introduce them to this Tai Chi, this Chi skills thing, that you were teaching, because I knew while I was doing these energy balls, it really unlocked things from my childhood. And after that, after I got rid of that, all these new ideas popped up in business, right? So it's indirectly, stuff from the past is indirectly related to, it's affecting our performance, our current performance. And
Absolutely.
it affects, like, I know that's like the root cause of a lot of these problems, right? Just in business.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I knew I needed to fly them over, as well as, but the main priority was me, obviously, like having you guys teach me. But I knew like this is a good time to also fly them over and then
and work together.
I think it only made the experience better because when there are more people, you learn by seeing other people change as well, and I think they got to know each other on a different level as well. So
building trust among them
and
too. Yeah,
getting to know each other on this energy level is a different game. And so it's more trust, and so I'm really curious how that works out in the coming weeks, months, years.
Let's see what happens. I know I already noticed some changes in them, and time will tell. And let's see.
Well, we went deep with them as well. We didn't know them yet, so there's only a couple of days that we're involved with them. But we went really deep. We did trauma release on the last day, and we did so many things that, and it was like the timing was perfect for it too. So going through all these layers, like the mental, we did mental training, we did energy training, we showed them also the relationship between the physiology and their states, etc. But then also going deeper, and they were very vulnerable, right, in the workshop. They were very open with us too. Maybe because we're husband and wife too, right? So maybe it gives them a certain sense of being safe. So. And they are safe, obviously, but they really, but they were really open with us and really prepared to go deep. So I think they got it why you brought them over, right? They really got it and really appreciated it too, because it was a chance for them to go deep with themselves, and maybe they've never did that up to this point, that deep, right? I'm pretty sure they didn't. So
it's always kind of we go through the vibrational scale, or we did that during the workshop, or at least the triangle. So first physical, vital, the astral, and then the mental. So you go through this vibrational scale and do these exercises to move through them, but then you open space and stuff comes up. And you see, now there is room for this trauma release. And even in the 6 days that we had, it's such a short time. But there was room to actually make that next step and see them like, wow, grow. And you could see that with...
build confidence and trust, and
I really wanted, I really made sure to like really double down on this. I would talk to them afterwards, get feedback. And I'd bring it back to you, if there was any things we needed to kind of tweak. And then
one-on-ones.
It was just like so much doubling down on stuff. And I think, I really think this is going to make a difference.
But also the three of you had sessions together as well, doing some talking about manifestation, or the four of us did that. So that was also a topic that maybe that's nice to talk about. As
Absolutely.
Well.
Manifestation is your business, I guess. Right?
Exactly. Exactly. So with manifestation, it's like I always believe that, like, I think I manifested this entire, like, everyone here actually. I actually had this this vision a long time ago. Maybe like I had this vision maybe, actually not, that's just about a year ago. when was it? In the Philippines, actually last year, right? Last year when I was building this team. All right, let me start from the beginning, right? So I first manifested this 10x team, this high performing team, right?
Yeah.
Like it was just me and Azel, and then after I did the neurofeedback, I was like, all right, we need to have a strong team, a really core strong team that can really 10x things. And then afterwards, we started building that team, and then we optimized them, and then afterwards, I was like, okay, now we need to that was like half a year ago. I was like, we need to push it even more, push it next level. Yeah. So I knew something was still off, because it's like all the optimizations I did kind of reached its peak, but then I was like, okay, cool. But this thing, I knew like the chi skills that I was doing, it was something else. It was something that I feel has unlimited potential. I felt like it just kept growing and growing, whereas everything else I tried had a certain cap, like whether it's medications or supplements, like
it's
caffeine.
It's not from
everything
within.
drops.
Yeah.
Everything drops at some point. I was like, something's not right. Like I kept searching for that one thing that would just push the limits and break all barriers, right?
Yeah.
And then it came across like spirituality. That was when, oh shit, like manifesting actually, I think there is a higher power. People call it different things. God. Some people call it God. Some people call it Allah or whatever. Like I think we're all talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
We're all talking about the same thing. And I was like, oh shit, like something broke me out of this curse. But it was just like just saw the light. I was like, and then like a couple months ago, maybe like 5-6 months ago, I started thinking about the next product I wanted to build, which is manifestation. And because I saw it trending on TikTok, and then I was like, oh, this is cool. But at that time, I didn't realize that actually I wanted to manifest things, And I had been manifesting things the whole time,
Sure.
So
more unconsciously, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's just, we all
Unconsciously.
manifest, so yeah.
Yeah,
but,
these thoughts, thoughts actually became reality. I just didn't realize they're called manifestation. I thought it was really woo-woo, before. I was like, does you just manifest a car and it pops up in 10 minutes or something? Right? That was not my mind. Right? I was like, there's no way this is real, But as I got further deep into manifestation, I realized like, oh wow, like this is actually real, and it actually has a really strong scientific standpoint. Although there are a lot of scientific things that are still catching up, actually. But I actually validated in a lot of experiments, like really cool things that otherwise people won't even believe, So
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's with manifestation. You first have to believe in it before it can actually happen. And sometimes people are just waiting for something to happen. But if you cannot see it, how can it become reality?
Yeah.
And to your point, I think a big fallacy in a space right now is kind of like what you and Josh were saying, where like somebody just lies on her sofa and they visualize like a red Lamborghini to just appear in their sofa, but obviously that never happens. I think that started with The Secret. That's where I heard that like it started. But yeah, learning from you guys, it sounds like there's two different types of manifestation. There's like passive manifesting or like active manifestation. Could you shed some light on those two?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want me to? We can.
Sure.
But so it's all about understanding cause and effect. When we start cause and effect, that every thought, every feeling, every action you do has an effect in the world. You first have to be conscious of that before you can go into conscious manifestation. Before that, it's more unconscious manifestation, because we all manifest. We all have images, we have feelings, and these feelings have an effect. So, and these energies that you send out, they come back to you too, right? So if there's a lot of negativity in you, negative stuff will also come your way. That's just how we keep ourselves in a state of suffering, you could say, right? So now, when that suffering becomes enough for a lot of people, it means that they wake up. It's like, okay, wow, now I can see the cause and effect. I am doing this, right? Instead of blaming everyone around you, which is very hip nowadays, by the way, it's a hip thing, is that you start seeing, wait a minute, everything starts with me, and being conscious over myself, right? So understanding that you are an energy being and it doesn't stop here, but everything that you are goes into the world, and you are a magnet, so the energy that comes back. Now you start doing that consciously. yeah, that's a path in itself, because you have to become conscious over your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own actions, and see them, and without judgment try to change them for the better, right? So
Right.
this is how conscious manifestation works. And yeah, so there's still a mental aspect, right? Like the Lamborghini you could see, yeah, it could actually become real when you start working for it and see how that, but it's I guess it's for everything. There's a mental image, there's a feeling to it, and and there must be an action towards it. Just
Yeah.
lying on your couch
Yeah.
won't bring the Lamborghini
Right.
towards you, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you, why are some people able to manifest things while others are not able to? Is there like a key difference?
I think some people have more self-esteem, maybe,
Yeah,
right?
and I think
in the sense that they just
everybody
yeah,
can manifest.
Yeah.
That's not the issue. It's just
we all do.
and we do. We manifest the life that we have created for ourselves. We have done that ourselves. But the thing is, why can some people manifest the things they're dreaming about? Well, first of all, they have dreams. They have these big dreams. So not everybody has these big dreams
Right.
like
Like
most
you guys
people,
might
yeah,
have. Or, yeah.
most people don't have. They're so conditioned by first of all family, teachers,
Society.
school, society,
Culture.
and to go out of to actually pull away from these systems. For a lot of people, that is very. It feels very. They feel insecure about doing that. So it's like you two have each other. We have each other. You have like a backup. Yeah. But it's important to have your people around you.
Yeah, of course.
And actually, we're here together now. So you need people to build upon, create your own systems instead of still being in those systems of family, school, society, because most of them are contracting. They're like not the ones that are of the free spirit. So if you want to break free, you want to break out of that, you have to be very conscious.
Yeah,
and you
reclaim
have
your
to,
power. And there's a lot
Yeah.
of, to get into a situation like that, yeah, it takes a lot of willpower
Yeah.
and seeing also beyond it, seeing
Yeah.
like where could this lead, right? Because they might understand, see the suffering in their own circle and see I have to break out of this circle to actually manifest the thing I want to manifest and do something good in the world, right? The greatest manifestors, I think, realize they have a connection with everything. So they realize it's not only for me what I'm manifesting, but I manifest for the benefit of all beings, right?
Exactly.
When you start doing that, it will create a loop. But you have to see where it gets stuck in your surroundings first, right? And in yourself. It's like, oh man,
Yeah.
it's stuck. We talk about it, blah, blah, we're not getting there, right? We're keeping ourselves stuck. So reclaiming your own power. Yeah, and then start manifesting from that space.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. But can you also see that's a path? That is a path, getting there.
Yeah.
And that's so beautiful.
Right.
It's not just like you wake up one day, it's like, oh, let's start manifesting, right? Yesterday I was suffering, now I'm manifesting.
Yeah.
Right? And this suffering is not only, but it's more like where you hold yourself back. That's a process of spiritual development, actually. You have to start understanding yourself, right? And see yourself and do that without judgment so that you can, and then from there you can see, like, I'm not the only one suffering. I can see that around me, and how can I spread my influence so that I can help people?
Yeah.
Smaller scale, larger scale. Look at maybe like someone like Tony Robbins, who affects millions of people around the world, right? And some people only have 3 students maybe who they share with or whatever they, So or the products you're launching and doing, right? I mean, just spreading the love for people to free up. I guess the times we're living in now they ask her they're asking this too. So for people, you see it all around the world, right? It's like there's so much change going on now and people want more freedom, right? They want to break out of their
I think the worst is people who are comfortable in their situation. Just they have the job, they have the family, they have the car, and they have the house, and they think, from the outside, it looks like,
I belong, it's great.
I'm okay. but underneath,
There might be a lot of frustration.
maybe there's frustration, but then they look at they're just in their phone a lot, and they're just distracted in all the things that are comforting them. And so that's the biggest group. That's the biggest group in this world. They're manifesting this
the system.
And also the kind of comfortable life. And if they're just comfortable enough, they won't move. That's where they're stuck at.
Yeah. It sounds like you guys have like a really vast experience in this field of manifesting. Could you let the audience know like where you started and like a little bit about yourself on this subject?
Sure.
Oh, where it started. Actually, it's a fun story to tell that when I was 16, I was an exchange student here in Thailand. So that taught me a lot, because I was the only one in my school. It was quite a big school, and I was the only one after doing high school going to, there were two children, one of them was me, who were going like on an exchange program. This was 1995, so it's quite a long time
30
ago.
years ago.
How old? Yeah. No, so, but doing that, and I was like the second person from the Netherlands going to Thailand for a year. And I ended up somewhere countryside, up north, whole province, no foreigner. So it really made me see, okay, well, all this conditioning that had happened to me, because all the things that I had learned in the Netherlands from growing up there, a lot of them didn't count here. Although we're all people. We all eat and we all have feelings and stuff. For what was normal for me as a 16-year-old wasn't normal here for a 16-year-old. That made me see, look at the world in a different way, probably. So coming back from that experience, and it was not always an easy experience, it kind of gave me a whole new perspective on who I was. It made me look inside. I was with myself a lot and my own thoughts, and in a completely new situation. So coming back from that, I felt different, and I felt like, I looked at the world in a different way. When I met you, it was just before you met a Tai Chi teacher, and that got you into Tai Chi, just on that moment that we met.
Yeah, so it was magical. It was in the air. It was 2002, so it was quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I was hitting a crisis at that point in my life. So I realized I have to do something myself, whatever, therapy, whatever. Just I needed to understand myself better. And that got when I made that decision, I met her. Tai Chi came into my life. It's like this magical thing, like talk about manifestation, right? Just making the simple decision of like, I need to work on myself. Yeah. Creates a shift in the universe where energy comes back to you and sends you all these signals. Okay, this is possible. People come on your path. Teachers come on your path. But even before that, I think I was born very awake and aware. Yeah. Just looking at grown-ups and situations. Never really losing touch, by the way, with the mystery, you could say, right? So I was always where people were looking at things like this. I was always looking at trees and the sky and just being very mentally expanded, if you could say, which later turned out to be the whole thing that I was looking for, said my teacher. So, but I guess I got into contraction too, while still trying to keep in touch with that. Growing up, I would go into contraction as well, and there was just a lot of stuff happening in my family, and a lot of things affecting me too. But I never lost contact with this deeper part of me, where I just knew there was something inside me, like whatever everyone around me was doing, I was like always super critical. It's like, yeah, okay, you want me to go there? Like in school, they would say, do this, do that. And I was like, nah, no. Because I had this feeling, I was observing these people who actually taught me to do this and that. And I just didn't believe them because I felt something was off. I felt they were not happy. They just tried to talk you into some system that, you know. And so I was really critical of that. But that creates some... that creates also sort of a disconnect with society, if you will. So you try to blend in some way, but you start feeling lonely too, and you're at your with yourself, with your own things and questions, etc. So when I made that decision, and the teachers started coming into your life, that's when I started manifesting what we're doing now, right?
Yeah.
It started before, I guess, you know, but I needed to go through that process to really get back to myself and say, I need to take responsibility for myself and go back and build on what is actually my strength, right? What was already there. Now, from there, I started going into the training. First, it was more Tai Chi based, but then it was more Qigong, Neigong, some internal skills, leading to hermetic training, and then teaching myself. So I think when I was younger, I was already into self-development and personal development and making, and you know, even in music, you work on that stuff because music happens real time, right? You cannot, you have to perform. It's like performing, right? So, and people who perform, they get into ups and downs too, right? Sometimes you perform better, then be less good, and so I was like, how can I be a better performer, etc. So that also brought me back to myself. So I was constantly walking around with a mirror, like, okay, you know, it must be something in myself. So you know, and from that you start turning your energy around and releasing, etc. And then you start creating the life and the meaningful life that I knew was in the stars for me, right? And now, living that completely, you know.
For us,
for us, you know.
But it needed it was quite a long journey. It was not overnight, but
No.
I think both of us had the thing that we weren't fully in society.
Right.
That just didn't match.
Always on the
Everything would
sideline.
always go wrong if we tried to do that. So it was just, okay, we have to move in another direction. And then, so that
I feel we're really on a wave, you know. It's like, we call it the evolutionary force. And that's what we're so aware of. I think I never lost touch with it as a child even. It was like I was so connected and then never lost that feeling of like there must be something more than what we're presented, you know. And I'm so glad that was so strong in me. And I recognized it in you as well. So from there we started, this whole adventure started. Yeah, so that was a bit of our story, right? How we met, but also what we happened before. So and that's how you get into this energy thing, starting teaching people too. Because you, from what you learn, you're gonna spread too. You know, I mean, I cannot help teach what I learn, and for you the same,
for
right?
us, for us both. I think it's also you let go of a lot of things that you think, this is the direction I should be heading to. This is what I've learned that the picture should look like. And then after a while, you, like what I said, it just didn't work that way. So then you start creating like, but what should it feel like? What should my life, what if my life was like a happy feeling? What would that look like? And then you start manifesting from that perspective, and you have to, you still have to let go of a lot of stuff that maybe because you carry that from generations with you, and now you have the chance to let go of that stuff and to really build that life that is there for you. Instead of that, you kind of drag that along.
So it sounds like manifesting. Everyone is manifesting.
Yeah.
And this is what I heard from others as well. It's like everyone's manifesting. It's like when you are in a bad state, you're manifesting bad things into your life.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are exactly what you thought about, but it's still not right for you. Sometimes you just don't manifest things at all, right? So it's just like just an unoptimal state to manifest when you're in this kind of stage. It doesn't come to you.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the case?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's all about recognizing cause and effect. The manifestation is cause and effect. That's what it is, you know, and seeing the results of your thoughts, your feelings and actions. And
Karma.
and that's what karma is, right? People talk about karma. It's like someone hits their head. It's like, instant karma, right? Cool. But what it actually is, it's very simple. It's just cause and effect. Everything you think, feel, and do, your state has an effect in this reality, and it will bring stuff back to you, right? So so being more conscious of that, you start becoming more conscious of your thoughts, your feelings, your state, etc. Now there's a change starting to happen as you start working on yourself, and now you can consciously make that shift. But as we were doing that as well, you're going to find out at a certain point that it's not really about you, because you're part of a larger whole, right? You're part of a network. So it's more about what wants to come through. So being open for what wants to come through. So talking about universal consciousness, what we were just talking about, right? So having this connection, where in Qigong we try to work our way up this ascension path, as we become more and more aware of this consciousness that we are also a part of, it becomes more spiritual. And now you can see, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm part of this evolutionary force that just wants to move forward. And what is my effect in that? What's my part in that, right? But seeing that as you being a part, this medium between universal consciousness and how this energy expresses itself through you. Now, this sounds pretty biblical, you could say, or spiritual, but it is what it is. You start to sense that as you start taking responsibility for yourself, recognizing your own stickiness, your mess, and start cleaning that up. You start opening the pipeline, and now stuff just wants to come through. Like a purpose starts evolving from that. Clearer. There's more clarity in your system. Like what feels good, what doesn't feel good, and you have a choice now to follow what's good. And your energy starts changing, your reality starts changing. That's what it is, because it's microcosm, macrocosm. You cannot escape from the universe. So. You know, and then from there you see that out of this. So five pillars, right? We talk about.
It's reconnection. We've been doing that quite a lot with getting back to yourself, self-healing. Well, that starts happening by itself when you have this open system. Stuff will come up, as you were saying. Building the ball, and stuff from family comes up. Well, now you can deal with that because it's more in your awareness. Self-mastery, becoming master over your state, being able to choose your state, and then there's purpose that now that becomes more clear. What's your purpose? And now you can manifest your purpose. That's the fifth one. So if you follow this path, now you're consciously manifesting instead of unconsciously manifesting. So that's kind of
that's been really helpful.
I've been enjoying the conversation. I like to listen, partake, implement. So really like everything you guys are saying, especially how you made it super actionable with the 5 pillars, right? Because everyone's always looking for like the step by step, like the framework, and it sounds like that's a pathway to entry. I guess like the $1 million question that I always hear from my friends and others when talking about manifesting, they're always like, how do I manifest faster? So is that, obviously you guys are like masters of this, is that even a possibility to like accelerate manifestation, or is it something that's out of our control and we can only set like our intentions? Or if you guys want to shine some light on
Good question.
It's a really good question. Well, out of my own experience, when you let go of a lot of stuff, it's so much easier to manifest, because now you kind of feel, okay, is this something that's for me? It's more that you're on this wave, but it's not like action. It's so reconnect with yourself, and then the self-healing that will create more space for the good stuff to come. So it's
it cannot really be hurried.
But when you're in that state, it will come faster.
It will go faster when you are able to come into the now, into the present. You know, the thing is that our mind is always pushing it into the future. It's like, okay, we talked about that, right? So this is the ego too, starting to talk. So the thing is, you manifest in the now. You don't manifest in the future. because the future doesn't exist.
Okay.
So being able to tune into the present and check your state in the present will have an effect of the energy in the present. And of course, that creates a future, that creates a living, etc. But that's the mind thing, right? Is where we manifesting fast. It seems timely related, right? It seems like, okay, so yeah, and then this faster and that faster. But that's not what it is.
Right.
All the training that we're doing on every level, if it's physical, opening, stilling the body, going into energy work, the byproduct is stillness. And in the stillness, the truth hides in the stillness. So when you become more still, you become more present in the moment, what stuff comes through, right? Josh does the ball, what happens? The good ideas start coming. We talked about it. You're in the shower.
Yeah.
In the shower,
Yeah.
the good stuff starts coming.
Yeah, for sure.
What's that? That's happening in the now.
Yeah.
So can it be hurried? You can. The thing you want to do is to work on your connection with the present and the now, and you can check your state and change your state in the now. You're manifesting in the now. So you want to manifest quicker? Get into the now. You do it. It's happening now.
Just drop the mic right there. Yeah.
It's been great having you guys come to Bangkok. Fly all the way from the Netherlands. It's been great having Laz, my business partner, to join us as well.
Yeah.
And I'll like help each other out and just generate all these different ideas. I think I'm very happy to see all this like manifest. And then so great having you guys on this podcast.
And thank you.
Thanks for inviting us, man. And thanks for the
Absolutely.
trust, bringing us over. And we're so
Yeah.
happy to meet you and your team and Laz as well, and seeing you two guys together, just manifesting your business and etc. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Yeah.